Now, the review case in the Please Call Me saga between Vodacom and former employee Nkosana Makate got underway today in the North Gauteng High Court. Vodacom has offered 47 million rand in compensation to Makate, who invented the Please Call Me. Now, Makate says he wants 10 billion rand. In 2019, the Constitutional Court ruled that the cellular giant must negotiate with Makate and determine an amount payable to him. eNCA's Heidi Jokos tracking that story for us and joining us now from the newsroom here on the Midday View this afternoon. Heidi, good afternoon to you. Just remind us why Makate took Vodacom to court in the first place.
Well, this all stems back to March 2001, Dan, when Makate was asking Vodacom to compensate him for coming up with the Please Call Me model. This was a model that allowed for Vodacom users to send a free message to other Vodacom subscribers asking for them to please call the person who actually sent the Please Call Me. And this, of course, generated phone calls, voice calls for Vodacom that ordinarily wouldn't have happened if the Please Call Me wasn't sent. It, of course, allowed those who didn't have airtime to do so. And Makate said that this was created when he actually worked as a trainee at Vodacom back in 2001. He says that he was promised compensation way back then, and he did not get any compensation. And this is when he decided to head to the courts in 2008. This has been going on for years. And this is when he said that enough is enough, and he feels as though he should be compensated 10 billion rand for coming up with the model. He has said in his court papers, in various court applications to the Constitutional Court and other courts, that he believes about 70 billion rand has been accumulated for Vodacom through this Please Call Me model. So he says he needs to be given what's due to him, and he believes that Vodacom is being unfair and is not being transparent with how much was actually made when this model was formulated by him.
Okay, in terms of today's application, what is Mr. Makate seeking?
Well, this all links back to January 2019 when Vodacom decided that it's going to pay Makate 47 million rand instead of the 10 billion rand that he had been asking for. We also know a Constitutional Court judgment that came out indicating that the two parties need to negotiate in good faith and need to come up to an agreement and sit around the table and have a frank discussion. He believes as though Vodacom has not listened to that judgment and has rather decided to use its own model and its own method to come to 47 million rand. Makate is saying it makes no sense how Vodacom has come to 47 million rand as a compensation figure, and he wants the Pretoria High Court to review that decision by the CEO of Vodacom to pay him 47 million rand and to prove to the courts and to Makate himself how Vodacom decided to come, Vodacom came to that 47 million rand decision. But let's listen to his legal team in court earlier today.
The tactics in the negotiations included an attempt to exclude the very Constitutional Court judgment and order which had led to those negotiations. They included an insistence, despite a clear finding to the contrary by Justice Coppin in the High Court, that Mr. Makate be treated simply as an employee who did this in the course and scope of his employment. That was patently false. Mr. Makate had nothing to do with the technology of Vodacom at all. He was a trainee accountant in the accounts department. And in their endeavor to link this simply to what an ordinary employee might get, they adopted the view of one of their German experts, a Mr. Hock, who in the negotiations said of Mr. Makate's brilliant idea that he would be entitled to, and I quote, €0, $0, zero anything. And those negotiations ended, milady, when Vodacom made an offer. This is now, I think, in around about 2018, of 10 million rand after about 18 years for his invention.
Well, interesting arguments there, Heidi, taking place in court today. Vodacom, are they saying anything yet?
We haven't heard yet from Vodacom. They have not argued before the court yet. We do understand that Makate has about 3 different lawyers that will be arguing 3 different aspects of this matter. Currently what's underway is the model that was used by Vodacom, why that specific model was used, how Vodacom is going to determine or quantify the amount that was generated when Please Call Me's were sent, contract versus prepaid, unbundled versus in-bundle. It's a very complicated matter in terms of how does one actually quantify the profit that was made by the Please Call Me model. But this case is set down for the next 2 days, and we'll hopefully be hearing from Vodacom as to how they came to that 47 million rand. And of course the judge in a very difficult position, as Makate is not backing down. He, in his court papers, says he knows people want him to give up, but he feels as though his compensation figure for coming up with that model should be 10 billion rand.
Yeah, do you use the Please Call Me thing, Heidi?
I actually tried it. I used to use it a lot. I don't want to give my age away. I used to use it a lot in varsity and high school. I just tried it now and it works perfectly well.
I mean, many people used it, and this gentleman invented it. I mean, Vodacom better come up with a better story, I think. Anyway, the matter is in court for now. I'll send you, please call me, okay? Please call me, Heidi. Thank you very much. Heidi Jerkos there from our newsroom on that story. It is a serious story indeed, and good luck to Mr. Makate. If you invent something and you can prove it, you must be paid for it.